morning, viewers, and welcome again to another edition of Summit. We sincerely apologize for starting the program late. It's due to some technical hitches from here in the studio. I am Jumoke Michaels. You're welcome. And Banji is right here today. He left me all alone here on Monday, but thank God he's here this morning.
It was all in the interest of the program, you know. It was all in the interest. Well, I'm not here physically, you find out that I'm here spiritually. Okay. Even when I was not in the studio, I was with you spiritually throughout.
I was feeling your heartbeat right behind me.
And I was watching you, and I knew you were up to the task.
Thank God.
And that was a very lovely package.
Thank God.
This is the midweek edition of the program, and it's a very special one. I assure you, it's been advertised. It's all over the social media. Today is going to be a very special one, previewing Ogun State. That's from May 2019 to May 2023. So we want to see. Sincerely apologize for that breaking transmission. As I was saying, this is a very special edition. I won't take the words out of Jumoke's mouth.
Yes. Today we have someone who actually came on the program before the elections, and she said something very profound, that she will be right back after the election when the party wins. She didn't say if. She said when the party wins, she will come right here to appreciate the people for voting for the party. And I'm so glad that she kept to her word. And that says something very, very interesting about her. Well, she's a her.
And of course, she's a product of a party.
Oh, yes.
She's a product of a platform.
Oh, yes.
All Progressives Congress.
Yes.
Can we say this is integrity?
Oh,
and that is synonymous.
That's where I was going. It's absolute integrity. Because
And
it's one thing to say something, and it's another thing to
actually fulfill.
Yes, fulfill.
Let me take it a bit further. Can we say this is synonymous with the party itself?
Well, I want to think it's her person.
Her person.
I want to say it's her person.
Okay.
That means it defines who she is.
But don't forget that 2015, All Progressives Congress won on the platform of integrity. And that mantra that has been repeatedly re-emphasized, that integrity is the watchword. That's the guiding principle of the party. She may have taken part of that.
Oh, well.
That's my position. Okay.
Well, I'm just glad that she's a woman. That means, you have to watch out for women, in that political space, because they're coming with a bang. And this one is coming with integrity. And that's what she's showing this morning by showing up and coming up on the program today. Well, we'll take a quick break. We don't want to take the whole time. We want her to have enough time to actually tell us what the plans are in Ogun State towards further development of that state. So please stay with us. We'll be back after this break. You're welcome back, and thanks for still being there. This morning we are focusing on Ogun State, and the topic is creating new pathways for growth and development. And joining us this morning we have the Deputy Governor-elect Ogun State, the person of Engineer Mrs. Naimot Salako Oyedele. You're welcome, ma'am.
Good morning.
You're welcome, Your Excellency.
Excellency, yes.
That has a nice ring to
yeah.
it.
Well,
You're welcome.
of course, the party and herself, together with her principal, they actually earned the new title.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they worked for it and they got it.
Oh,
so,
yes, they did.
congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how sweet is the victory? How was it when you...
We give all glory to God for the victory. At the end of the day, we try, we put in your effort, and God has crowned our effort with success. And to show that we really appreciate that, we've had a Thanksgiving service in church in the prayer room, we've been to the mosque, I've been to Lesser Hajj to thank give thanks to God and say, oh God, we couldn't have done this ourselves. The good people of Ogun State, we thank them especially for coming out in their thousands and giving us this resounding mandate to lead Ogun State for the next 4 years. There was a lot of anxiety before the election and all, but despite that, the people, they bought into our vision and they came out, and we really appreciate them for what they have done for us.
All right, so virtually every other candidate have congratulated your principal, Prince Dr. Abiodun, except the candidate of the APM party, who has rather gone to the tribunal to challenge the victory of the All Progressives Congress. Now, how have you handled that issue?
There's nothing to handle per se. It's well within the right of any candidate to go to the tribunal if they feel they have an issue at hand, and the APM has exercised that right. I believe it's going to be an exercise of futility because we won the election fair and square, and the allegations that we have made will be found to be unfounded.
All right, now, just before the elections, I think Banji will agree with me that Ogun State was actually one of the states that people expected some form of more violence, especially because of the issues that arose before
the
election.
presidential campaign.
Yes, you know, because the reaction was kind of
an extreme one.
Yeah, it was an extreme one. So, but we thank God, like you said, that your party won squarely because there was no form of violence, so to speak, as much as people envisaged before the election. So we thank God for that.
Yes, we do.
Now that election has been won fair and square, I want to believe, with a margin of over 19,000 votes. You have your certificates of return, I believe.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, in the next couple of weeks, your administration, that's the incoming, would have been sworn in. That's May 29. But before May 29, what concrete steps, what strategies do you have in place towards smooth, hitch-free, and seamless transition?
Well, we're going to have a transition committee which will be set up to turn the things that we have put in our mission and vision statement, our manifesto, into policy guidelines going forward. So we're in the process of that, and in the next few weeks we'll have a document which we will use to start off once the administration is sworn in.
Okay, once the administration, so in other words, everything is set, and
yes,
it's going to be in phases.
Indeed, we have our manifesto, and these are all the things we want to do. But you know, going forward, we have to look at things that are short-term, medium-term, and long-term. So all these things are going to be set out, and we'll have the proper policy documents which will help us to do all that.
Let me take this a bit further. It's common that in political circles that people who actually work for the party are the ones that usually emerge in the cabinet. Now, is that the line you intend to toe, or people you think, if irrespective of their contributions to your emergence, individuals who probably have the credentials to deliver in line with your mandate? But what's the strategy? How do you intend to go about it?
Those two groups that you have described, they're not mutually exclusive. Right. So people who work for the party are also capable to be in government. And what we're looking for is the best for Ogun State. And this is what we're going to deliver within our ability. So we're going to go into our pool. Ogun State is probably one of the most blessed states in this country in terms of human capacity and human resources. And without a doubt, we will find within our state almost every level of manpower and capacity that we need to run the state, and this is what we're going to do.
All right. Before the elections, there were several promises. We call them campaign promises that are made to the people. And I guess, I'm sure, not that I guess, I'm sure that your party actually made some promises during the campaign. Now, how committed are you to actually ensuring that these promises are accomplished? Yes. And then which of them do you think you're going to start with?
We are very committed to meeting everything that we have in our manifesto, because we sat down and we were very careful in choosing the things that we promised. We didn't want a situation where we promised things that we could not deliver. And I'm sure it was on this program that I used the word reasonable promises to the electorate. And this is what is going to guide us in what we're doing. Like I said, it is this manifesto that is going to be translated into policy documents. Some of those things we'll be able to do short term. And one of the first things that we're going to address is the issue of the state of the roads all over the state, especially the rural roads and the roads in the smaller towns. When we were on campaign, we realized that this was an issue that was so important to everybody. And the reason being that everybody uses roads. You wake up in the morning, you have to use your road. You're rich, you're poor, you're male, you're female, whatever religion you are, you use your roads. And roads are almost like a socio-economic barometer. You know, it's like whenever we travel, the first thing we say when we get wherever we go is, when we got there, the roads were so good. They might have other issues, but the first thing you see, before you get to the schools, before you get to the hospitals, before you get anywhere else, you see the roads. And this is very important to our people. And apart from the fact that it's something that is visual, it's actually very practical as well. It helps with the economy. People can get to work, they can get to their farms, they can get farm produce to market, and it really is very important. And this is where we're going to start, and it's going to be a very central part of our government, so that we can then enable other people to do what they want to do vis-a-vis their personal businesses. Yes.
I'm so glad with that's a very particularly road infrastructure, because we have even got some kind of feedback from residents of Ogun State, very close to us here, Akute, Alagbole, and even Aton LCDA communities, Ilogbo, Aton Ilogbo LCDA. Some communities are actually yearning for this government to come in and fix the road, because it's practically almost impossible for them to actually access their homes. So I'm happy that that's your vision too. You're actually looking. The road is certainly not one of them. What's your blueprint, for instance, for education, for health, for youth empowerment, and then other infrastructure within the states?
On education, we have said that we are going to look at it from two sides, from the teachers' side and from the pupils' side as well. The teachers, we're going to improve their terms of employment, all the issues they have around their deductions, continuous professional development, and things that will definitely improve their capacity, because if you cannot teach what you do not have. So this is very important that we bring our teachers up to grade, and we make them feel proud to be teachers and want to do the work and share what they have with the children, because the children are our future. On the side of the children, we have to make sure that they're learning in conducive environments. So a lot of the schools that are perhaps in deplorable conditions. We have to go in there and start to improve the conditions of the schools. The rains are coming now. There's some schools that have leaky roofs, and the children would have to be carried in a corner if it starts to rain, because the rain is pouring down the roof into their classrooms. Things like that, we have to address those ones very quickly to make this conducive for children to go to school. And once we make the schools better, then we expect that more and more people will be able and comfortable with enrolling their children in state schools. On health, the primary healthcare centers are our priority, because the reality is that most people, what ailments they have, can easily be treated in primary healthcare centers. And this would be close to the point of need, to make sure that people do not have to travel unnecessarily long hours to get to these centers, have the equipment and the manpower that will be able to help the people when they come into the primary health care centers. Further to that, we'll now look at centers of excellence in each senatorial district, where people will be able to access top medical equipment that may be needed for special ailments. And in the middle, we'll now go back to the state hospitals, general hospitals and all that, and just generally bring everything up to scratch, so that people will be comfortable to know that and assured that if they need these places, they can go there, they will get treated, and at a cost that is not punitive to them as well.
Okay, youth empowerment?
Youth empowerment.
The youth are the future of the state. And when we went round, this was something that we realized, that there's a lot of rural-urban migration because there's no work in the rural areas. And of course, when these youths get into the urban areas, they're now away from home and stuff, and they struggle in these areas. And one of the things that we're looking at is to make sure that people are able to be employed in all areas of the state. And in doing that, we're looking at in the agrarian areas of the state, helping with the farm settlements, giving them input so that we can have the youth back in agriculture, make it interesting for them, and make it profitable so that they can actually, build their futures around agriculture in those areas. In the more urban areas, we're looking at industrial parks where we provide all the enabling environment for people to set up businesses. And once you set up all these businesses, you have to employ people to run them for you. So that will help. So these are the things that we're looking at. The other thing we're also looking at is that where we even have young graduates in the state, we have seen that there's a challenge that a lot of people may just not have the wherewithal to be employed in top-notch companies. And we have to make them more employable. So we are going to go through and train them in public speaking, writing, all these things that will give them an edge and make them employable. Because all the things that we are planning, which will bring industries and employers into Ogun State, we have to have a program that will make our children employable by those people, so that we don't create the jobs and then we now have to go and import people to work there at the detriment of our own citizens in Ogun State.
The last lap, which is you mentioned road. What about other infrastructure? Everything will aid business in that place.
Apart from the roads, the other things we have to look at, especially for business, is power. And one of the things that in the manifesto that Prince Abiodun has prepared and which we presented to the people for the election is that we're going to be looking at enhancing the gas supply that passes through Ogun State and exploiting it for our use, creating power hubs around industrial parks. Okay. And this will help the companies themselves to have regular power to run their businesses, and the surplus power from that will now be sold, and members of the public will also be able to benefit from that as well. So that's essentially what we're looking at as as Ogun State. But also the federal government has some initiatives where they're going to make it simpler for private individuals to generate power and sell it locally. So I believe that with an improvement in the power generation and power supply in the state, the cost of doing business will be reduced. And as such, improve the profitability of the companies with all the consequence benefits to the community and to the government.
Some of the roads, in fact, the major roads leading to Ogun, maybe Abeokuta, are federal roads. And these roads are in deplorable states, particularly the Songo-Ota, if for access. I mean, it's usually a kind of a big issue when you have to commit from one end to another. What would your government do, maybe in partnership with federal government, to ensure that that road is permanently fixed?
I mean, at the moment, the road at Ifo is under reconstruction, and I hope that that will be completed pretty soon. We have an APC government in Ogun State and an APC government at the federal level. I think this synergy is very important for things that we want to get done, which need federal government cooperation. And we will exploit this synergy to the best of our ability. What is good for us in Ogun State is good for everybody. It's not just indigenous of Ogun State. I mean, whatever benefits that it brings, there's also indirect benefit to the federal government vis-a-vis taxes and things. So I think that it can only get better from where we are now, and we will make sure that this relationship between Ogun State and the federal government, we use it to the best of our ability.
I like your insight to some of these issues you have mentioned, because it shows some sort of passion, maybe from the motherly instinct, or as a woman. I don't know, Banji, don't be angry about that statement.
I'm watching.
Now you tell me that.
I'm watching.
I'm not being
Next
biased,
time I'll bring our principal. Next time I'll bring our principal and you will be the minority.
I'm not being biased, but I just like, you know, it's a kind of motherly and womanly insight into some of these problems. And she said something about making reasonable promises that they are able to meet up with. But I want to ask you, based on being a woman and your motherly instinct, what are your personal dreams of what you want to see done in Ogun State, especially as regards governance? Personal, no.
Yeah. I must say that's a very difficult one, because I think everything I've taken a lot of things very personally. By the time we went around campaigning all the local governments and stuff, I started to realize the challenge that a lot of our people were under, and the despair that a lot of people had to go through in their day-to-day lives. Sometimes, you know, you're sort of overwhelmed that, oh my God, you know, is this what's going on and things. But I think the one thing I have taken out of everything is just to look at it and say, we have to secure the future. Government is a continuum. We'll do our turn, we'll leave, and another set will go. But what about the human capacity? What are we doing to make sure that there's always somebody else to take over from us? I'm here today because some people invested in me, you know, over the last 30, 40 years, invested in my education and all that. And that's why I'm here today. And are we investing in the next generation so that they'll be there to take over? We have all this Vision 2030, Vision 2040, but in 2040, who's going to carry that vision out? So for me, education is key, and development of the capacity of a youth is very key. And these are what you'd say was my passion, because if you do that, so many other things crystallize around it. If you educate the women, their children are automatically going to be in a better place than they would have been if they were not educated, and the cycle continues thereon. We see a lot of people now who just feel very hopeless about themselves, and this is very distressing for me. So I think that But all in all, at the end of the day, what we're looking at with the President Oyede's government, if you look through our mission and vision statement, is to improve individual prosperity. And it's not just about cash in the bank. It's just being in a better place than we were when we started. And this is where we want to be.
Well, thank you for that insight. Well, the program is still on. We'll go on a break now, and then when we return, we're going to be opening the lines. Please, what we want you to do is congratulatory messages, and then also to go straight to the point on maybe what you want to draw the attention.
Your expectations.
Yeah, what you want to draw the attention of the incoming government. Is it the government?
Yes, incoming administration.
You know, what you want them to do. Please be specific and no long talk. We'll put the number on the screen when we return from this break, and you can just speak to engineer Mrs. Naimot Oyedele this morning. We'll go on a break. We'll be right back.
Come aboard.
Okay, you're welcome back. Thanks for still being there. We still have our guest here in the studio, but just briefly before we continue with the discussion and before we begin to pick your calls, I just want to say that there's a media statement here from Honorable Remi Azan, and one of the spokesperson of Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun, and is a fraud alert, saying that there's a fraud, there are some characters seeking to swindle unsuspecting people in the name of providing job opportunities. That's talking about Ogun State, and they want people to know that it's a fraud. It's titled "Keep Ogun State Clean Cops." That there's nothing like that. Hassan Jimo has been misleading the public on the purported plan of the governor-elect to employ 10,000 youth, 500 for each of the 20 local government areas as environmental sanitation task force in Ogun State with good and attractive salary. We want to let people know that it's a fraud, and there's nothing like that. I guess you want to say a bit more on that.
Yes, thank you very much for drawing people's attention to that. Yesterday, we started to see this then being shared on social media, asking people to call a particular number and asking them to come to the stadium sometime in April for registration for this particular thing. The Prince Dapo Abiodun government is going to have employment initiatives, but when we get into office, we will share this information through the right channels and invite people to whichever way we want them to register and help them get work. We are not asking any individuals to do this, and we have not formed any organization to do this yet. So I think people should be aware, and they should make sure that they're not swindled by all these people who are taking advantage of their circumstances. Once we get into office, through the appropriate channels, there will be the appropriate government spokespersons, the appropriate government websites, social media handles, where we'll be able to share information like this and make sure that all our promises to help people are carried out, but not with people swindling them and taking the meager resources that they have of them. Thank you.
Okay,
right,
moving
so
ahead.
Let me just read out the number to call before we ask the next.
All right.
All right, so the number to call to give her your congratulatory message and also what you want done in Ogun State is 081-8726-3655. Okay, it's right there on the screen, 0818-726-0295. The number to call to be a part of the program.
Now, quickly, we've been talking about the agricultural revolution, sort of. As far as business is concerned, what are you actually doing to restore the confidence of investors in Ogun State? I mean, the last time you came here, you spoke about the industrialization of the state. But what are the concrete plans to restore confidence and then to wood the
Okay,
state?
we have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yeah, please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Please, could you speak out? Yeah. All right, let's hear you. What do you have to say? Yes, I can hear you. All right. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Hello? All right, so he asked two questions, but the first one, I think you've already dealt with that, talking about proximity between Abeokuta and Lagos, that the road is really in a bad state, deplorable state, and then talking about agriculture. I think that was, yes.
Specifically mentioned the areas that are very close to Lagos.
Okay.
And these areas, there's some local governments, Adodota, Ifo, Shagamu, Bafemi, Wode, that are very close to Lagos, and the areas suffer the lack of infrastructure. And people who live there, usually most of them work in Lagos, so they come into Lagos often and they see the quality of the infrastructure in Lagos. These areas are very important to us. They are border towns, and we're going to do a lot of work to make sure that the infrastructure there is upgraded, and also some urban regeneration, just to make sure that there's an integration between all the services that they're providing there, because they're actually most densely populated areas now. Like I said, there's been a lot of rural urban migration, and this is where the migration is, migration from Lagos to those areas and from our rural areas to those areas as well. So they're a point of interest for us, because the economy within those areas is quite big, and we have to make sure that we do a lot for them.
We were talking about investors, ma'am.
Okay, the investors into Ogun State. Basically, one of the key points in the manifesto which Prince Dr. Abiodun presented is that we want to improve the index of...
All right, please hold on now. Hello, good morning. Hello, please, what's the name and where are you calling from? All right, let's have your message.
Can you please speak up?
Could you?
Speak up, please.
Educated people.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I've addressed that before, that we're going to help people get jobs. There are jobs in the government area, but also jobs in the private sector. All the schemes we're doing, so the answer sort of interjects with what he was asking me about ease of doing business. We're going to provide an enabling environment for investors to come into Ogun State. Public-private partnership is a very, very key part of our agenda, and we're going to make it easier for all these companies to come in, invest. And once they invest and they're doing business, they have to employ people. The more successful you are, the more improved your businesses, the more people you're going to employ. So all of these things that we're doing, the ultimate aim is really to get people employed.
Would your government also pay attention to the medium and small scale investors?
Without a doubt, they're the key to person-to-person business in any state.
Morning.
The industrialized places are restricted.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry.
Hello? We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
She's the deputy governor-elect.
Please.
Engineer Mrs. Naimot Salako Oyedele.
She's not that woman. No, please.
Okay, so I was saying that SMEs are very important, because the big industries, you're going to have them in specialized industrial areas and co.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, please, where are you calling from and what's your name? Please, you need to tune down the volume of your TV set. Yeah, tune down the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you clearly. Please tune down the volume of your TV set. Hello, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Good morning.
Okay, so many people are on the line. The lines are going to come. Now, the small and medium scale, you've actually answered.
What I'm saying is that they can be located all around the state. They don't have to be in specialized parks. They may not necessarily need high power or gas or specific uses. So this helps us to keep areas of the state also empowered. You know, you can have businesses all over. So they're very important, and whatever assistance, there's going to be the Ministry of Commerce that will help them in whatever way that we can. We definitely have a scheme for the grassroots women, which we call Okowo-Dapo. And this is going
Okowo-Dapo.
Okowo-Dapo, yes. And this is going to empower women at the grassroots, give them interest-free loans so that they can trade and farm and all the things that they want. And we're going to run this through existing cooperatives, religious organizations, just anywhere that there's a structure that the women can register, they can collect money, return, and as they return it, they can the amount that they can.
And this will be across board, not necessarily party faithful.
Oh no! That's what I've said. I haven't said it's going to be through political parties. Okay. I said it's going to be through cooperatives, religious organizations, unions, teaching unions, and things like that. That's what we're doing. It's not a party-based thing. It's for the women of Ogun State at the grassroots, just to be able to help them improve their circumstances. And this is what goes back to what we say about individual prosperity. For some people, what they need to change their circumstance is not that much, and it's this access to finance. It's very important. Just as you want the $1 billion loan, the person that needs 10,000 naira to be able to do what they want to do, everybody just needs it, and we're going to provide this interest-free for people, for the women.
All right, before we leave, because our time is actually up, will you probe the current administration when you assume office? Even even though it's the same party, but are you going to probe it?
This has been a recurrent question. Everybody seems to ask it. And Prince Dr. Abiodun will tell you, there's no way in my manifesto that says I'm probing anybody. I've told people what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what is important for me. People have not voted for me to probe anybody. They voted for me to improve their law. And we have said, this is what we want to do. If, however, people have broken the law, then the law will take its course. But this is not our mission. This is not our vision. Our vision is to improve the lives of the people of Ogun State, and we're going to go out and do that.
All right,
it's not the same government from the, although APC to APC, would you continue with some of the programs of the current administration, if necessary?
Prince Dr. Abiodun has stated that several times, that government is a continuum. These things are for the community, and we're not going to abandon any projects. We're going to review them. We may look at different terms and conditions, but we're not going to go out and say we're abandoning all of this and starting again, because abandoning projects is actually going to affect the lives of our citizens, and this is not how to lead.
My friend has asked me to actually mention this to your air, that LCDA, that's an area he wants you to start with before you actually
just like somebody else wants us to start somewhere. Don't worry. All these things we're evaluating them, and we will definitely make sure that we do our best for the people of Ogun State. It's very important that people live in areas that are comfortable, they're conducive, they can go to their work, they can do their business easily. The task is large. The road network is in a deplorable state.
You've spoken so glowingly about your principal.
Yes, sir.
What kind of relation, now that work has started, what kind of relationship are you actually hoping or looking forward to when the real work starts?
I'm going to be lieutenant to Prince Dr. Abiodun. I'll do everything that we need to make his government a success. I am ready to carry out all the assigned tasks to me. It's important that we succeed together, and I have assured him numerous times, and he knows that he has my utmost support and my cooperation where I can come up with new ideas or supporting ideas, whatever. I will do my best. We're swimming together, and we will succeed together by the grace of God.
Yeah, thank you. I think the duo of
Prince Dr.
This duo of Prince Dr. Abiodun and Engineer Naimot Salako Oyedele is something they are a pair to watch out for. Ogun State is on the front burner, and people are actually looking out to what will happen in that state. Well, your final word to the people.
Once again, I just want to say thank you very much to the good people of Ogun State for giving us this mandate, and promise them that we will do our best. We will not disappoint them. Prince Dr. Abiodun is somebody who is committed to improving the lives of people. He has left a very successful business to come and do this. It's a call to serve, and I promise you that we will not let you down. And we expect that you support us as well in all that we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you so
much. How often would you be here?
Don't let me commit myself, because I know that you people don't forget. You don't forget promises.
Yes, so
I don't want to commit
thank you so much. Thank you
very much. We're actually very glad. Now you kept your promise, and so we want that to be a guiding principle for the first 4 years of the administration.
Thank you.
We certainly wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for asking me back again. Thank you.
All right, see you again next Monday. I am Jumoke Michaels.
And I'm Banji Pusari. Thank you for watching.